how are we at winning business? That's what I really want to focus about today. How are we doing winning business? Now, got to brag a little bit on Team Johnson here. They just won that listing on Waterford. They brought enough value that they won the listing from an agent that had actually bought and sold them houses, 2 or 3 different times? 3 different times. You know how much trust that person has with that couple if you've bought and sold somebody for 3 different times, and what you have to provide in order to overcome that? I mean, that's value right there. So what are we doing on every listing presentation? What are we doing when we represent a buyer to bring value to that? But I came up with the top 10 that I think that bring value to you. And if you're not using these in your listing presentations or your value propositions to your buyers, you really need to start looking at this. Because I tell you what, guys, it's only take one time when you lose a $300,000 listing and you consider the fact that you just lost $9,000. It take one time when that buyer decides to go to another person, another agent, and it was a $400,000 property that they bought and you lost $12,000. Should only take one time. Because it's money out of your pocket. That's how you have and create a business that is predictable, guaranteed, and have a great life that you are looking for. So, top 10 here. One is, are you using brand recognition? Are you able to articulate the value of what your company and your brand is bringing to the table? Do you know that a Coldwell Banker sign in a front yard is garnishing more than $15,000 higher value than the average real estate sign in a yard? Do you know that? Do you articulate that to your buyers or your sellers? Are you able to talk about the brand recognition and the value that the brand brings to it, right? So these are the things I want you to be thinking about. Be able to articulate this. We talk about role playing. These are great topics to role play. Number 2, do you know that your company is a part of the largest referral network in the United States? So can you articulate that you guys have the opportunity and you guys are a part of the largest referral network in the United States that represents the brands such as USAA, and through that is Cardis, and through Cardis is Coldwell Banker? Can you bring value when you talk about that? Number 3, you are part of the largest firm in Casper, Wyoming. Are you using that to your advantage, whether it is a buyer or a seller? And if you are saying that, what is the advantage of the largest firm? Are you able to articulate to your seller, I have the largest firm, I'm a part of the largest firm in Casper, and we're going to have over 30 agents come and walk through your property, and we have an entire almost 2 pages worth of buyers that are looking for properties that are not on the market yet. That's value that you bring to the table. Are we saying that? Number 4, we sell nearly 40% of our own listings. Last time I checked, we were at 34, and we've been crushing it recently. So we are almost at 40% of our own properties that we list, we're selling them within house. That means that we're selling them before market. That means that we're selling for a higher price. That means that the sellers and the buyers are communicating well with each other and the transaction goes smoothly. Are you able to articulate that? Number 5, do you realize that we sell for a higher list price sale ratio than the average agent on MLS? So average MLS is selling for 97.5%. You know that we sell for 99% from list price to sales price as a company? Are you providing that value? Are you showing that value? Are you talking about that value when it comes to winning listings? Troy and I were working on a great statistic. So when you have a buyer, so you gotta know 2 statistics, right? When I list a home, I will sell it for more money, and I will sell it faster, and I will sell it for closer to value than any other agent in Casper. So can you say that, right? Can your statistics look at that, or can your companies do that? Secondly, when you negotiate on your buyer, how much are you negotiating off that sales price? And so if the average MLS listing is selling for 97.5%, but you're selling homes when you represent the buyer for 95% of list value, do you think that's value to that buyer? Does that show you that you are actually a great negotiator on behalf of that buyer? Can you articulate that? What are your statistics? Have you ran those yet? Something to think about. So number 6 was the highest price point than the average MLS agent. Number 7 is the shortest days on the market as a company compared to the average agent on MLS. So once again, we sell for a higher price. We sell it for closer to the highest price than anybody, and we also sell it for a shorter amount of time. You think those three things bring value? Number 8, we just discussed it, CBX. Are you able to walk through CBX and articulate the value of what you provide and what your company provides? That you can identify a buyer that's not even in Casper that is going to be more than likely the one to be purchasing your property. Can you talk about the age demographics? Can you talk about their income? Can you talk about where they're coming from? And can you talk about how many inquiries CV has had in the last 2 weeks on a property that's in the price range that you're going to be listing? Can you walk through CBX and bring value to that? Number 9, the power of a personal in-company marketing director. In-company marketing director. Only company in Casper that has that. Are you using that and leveraging the value of what a marketing director will do and can do for those listings in particular? Have you brought Tommy to a listing appointment yet? How many of you have done that? Anybody? Kara did it. I did it the other day. Did you do it, April? Have you done it yet? You do, yeah? Yeah, he brought you guys. Yes, right, vice versa. Hey, so is there value in that? Like, you guys, if you're not comfortable with CBX and Google Analytics and buyer profiles yet, do you think that you probably should bring the guy that actually knows what he's talking about to that? Yeah, I mean, even I wasn't able to explain to the level that I wanted to when we did the Caribou listing, and Tommy was able to take it to the next level about explain why you need to be able to have a marketing director specifically for real estate agents. If you aren't using him to win listings, you need to really start considering that, especially when you have an opportunity to win a really good listing. I guarantee you will learn something from that listing presentation. And maybe the next time you won't have to bring him, but he will help you win listing presentations. And then number 10, CV123. If you're not using the CV123 packages, you really need to start using those. To be able to articulate, here's the thing, most agents cannot, when asked by that seller, they can't say and tell them what specifically they're going to do to market their property. By providing the CV123 packages, you guys can literally go step by step, everything that's going to be provided by that company specifically for them to sell their house in the quickest, fastest time possible with the highest price. And then on top of that, you have the analytics. On top of that, you have CBX. On top of that, you have all these other things that the company's providing, right? Here's my bonus though. If you don't have this, you won't win listings. Can you promote yourself? Do you know how to tell your story? Can you articulate the value that you personally will bring? Your brand is going to bring great things. CBX is going to bring great things. Your marketing is going to bring great things. The marketing director is going to bring things. But if you can't promote yourself and the value that you bring to that listing, you're missing a huge piece of that pie right there. So what is the value, what is the story that you're able to convey in order to win that business? If you're part of a team, why is that team important? If you're an individual, why are you better than a team? Do you know how to tell your story better than anybody else? 11 things right there, guys. That's how you win business in this industry. That's how you win business in Casper right here. We'll get you in front of people. You need to be able to articulate that value. Can we articulate that value? How many feel like they can promote themselves at a competent level? I know you can. Good. Did it take time, though? Yes. Did it take losing listings? Right? It takes time. This is not something that just happens overnight naturally, right? You have to practice this. You have to practice. I mean, if you know anything about me, I am always going over every scenario in my head. I have so many thoughts and so many conversations that go in my head that never come out of my mouth because I'm constantly trying to think of the scenario of what is going to happen in that next conversation I might have with that person. If you're not having those conversations in your head, you need to start. What is the objections you think they're going to say? How do you articulate the value? You guys have a great brand. You have a great company. You guys are great agents. There's no reason we shouldn't be winning 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 listing presentations. When you provide all of the steps, take your time, slow it down, do the small things, there's no reason you should ever lose a listing.